in terms of having to let go and allow, but having to let go and allow yourself, first and foremost, to be full in your energy and not just one way, and not thinking. Hello, Capricorn. My name is Kristen Hansen, and welcome to SeaGoat Secrets. Hi again, I am Kristen, and I'm a healer. In this video, you are going to get a full rundown of, this April. Yeah, you're going to get a full rundown of April and how it affects you and your Capricorn placements. I begin with astrology and I end with a card reading. If at any point in this video you feel connected to me and you would like to join the client circle, you can find that link here and also in the bio. I welcome you. And I am a global citizen, as you guys know, so of course you can tell me where you're listening from in the comments and we can all connect on a worldly and global level. With all that being said, let's get into this. Okay, so Capricorn, this is April. This month in general, I will tell you, based on my emotions alone, is feeling very big. You know, it's like I can't explain it. It's like a lot of light, you know, so it's not a negative feeling. I don't feel eerie. I don't feel like, you know, doom is gloom or anything like that, but it's a bright, bursting feeling, especially in my solar plexus area, and which, you know, is probably great healing for me, like ego healing and stuff. But this energy is intense and it feels like transformation, and I know it's going to bring about change, but the kind of change, it just feels so bright. But I'm not sure yet, so let's get into this. Let's start with reflections from March. So March kind of had you in a space that started in a way that was a little bit shadowy. The first 2 weeks of March had you in a headspace that was very much post-healing. You guys were dealing with a lot of post-traumatic stress and trauma, dealing with emotions like rage, dealing with your emotions kind of going up and down. So things feeling very light and then all of a sudden getting angry about something from the past, going up and then down in terms of the depths of sadness because things around you are not necessarily the way that you want them to be just yet, and you are trying to put all of your effort into creating the new life that you desire the most. And this has created an interesting back and forth for you all throughout the months of March. When we stepped into Aries season after the spring equinox, a whole lot of light found you. It was as if the sun came out and it just started to beam in and illuminate the dark corners for you. And this time when you looked into those dark corners, there was nothing there, which is really beautiful. Unlike, you know, kind of like what we were talking about with the Leo full moon that happened for us in January, which was right after the Pluto shift. And of course, like the divine works, you know, you get through the Pluto shift and then you have to look to the shadow and, you know, push through the shadow, clean it out in order to make it so that you can align. So the thing about when the spring equinox took place, it changed things for you, and all of this bright light beamed in, and like I said, these corners were illuminated and there was nothing there, or if there was something there, it was very minimal, very little, because of all of the work that you had put in prior, which is really beautiful. And you've felt this energy and it's been bringing this like burst into your experiences. And then we found the Libra eclipse, and we're still in this Libra eclipse aftermath, which is bringing a little bit of ups and downs. You know, this time you're not uncertain about the future. You're clear about the future, but you are kind of a little iffy about when you're going to finally get what it is that you deserve. You've been putting in so much work and energy into your manifestations, into creating the life that you want. And especially for you guys, this season is about home and family for you. The remainder of the year is about really establishing what home means to you, and your karmic vindication around this identity or this notion within itself. Mainly because it goes beyond just where you're living. It's a rupture happened for you in terms of what home means for you, even just in your own skin, in your own body. And that is a part of what's being restored for you during this time. And here we are at the beginning of it. You know, we're in and venture deeper into Aries energy and awaken this depth of change, or this desire for change for you. You're getting this fire, you're getting this fortitude. It's a very light energy for you. You actually are not dealing with so much anger yet. When the retrograde happens, that's when the conversation of anger is going to find you again. But it's still, you're going to handle it very, very well. It's mostly going to be those around you more than it is you. You've learned how to set boundaries. You've learned who to cut off, how to cut off, and when to cut them off. You know how to protect yourself. And the isolation that some of you are still undergoing, many of you have gotten out of this at this point, but some of you are still in it because you're still turning the wheel of your new life. This is actually going to keep you safe and protected during this kind of rupturing imbalance with Mercury retrograde and the Aries energy, because as everyone in the collective feels a new beginning and is trying to push that forward, everybody goes about it in their own way, especially when there's retrograde. But nonetheless, I'm kind of venturing into the month already, and I'm past the reflections at this point. So I'll wrap up with the March reflections with just saying how you're leaving March hopeful for the future. You're clear on what it is that you want to do. You're clear on where it is that you want to go. You're feeling very vibrant in your own energy, and you know you're going to come out on the other side. You're just tired of waiting, feeling very impatient, and looking out, waiting for those ships to come in. So that's where you are now in terms of March. And you're also big in right now after the eclipse energy and thinking about who you want to be in the world. You're clarifying your identity, no longer being a victim to misaligned identity politics where people can misconstrue you or not get you clear in terms of who it is that you are. These are things that are moving through you as you're refining your essence, really. And this is going to gear you up for creating new in April. So anyway, so let's go into April now. So let's get a general overview for April. We've got big shifts, like I said, in terms of what home means for you in your own body, and then how it's reflective in your family, in your relationships, in where it is that you live. And this idea has you looking at what home means to you, and the big, fast, quick changes that are going to be taking place in this area are going to find you kind of feeling a little winded. A lot of serendipity in terms of, like, you know, you put something out there or you want something and it, boom, all of a sudden it finds you, or being able to get approved for something that you didn't expect to be approved for. A relationship kind of popping up out of nowhere, or the healing of another one. Whatever this, the healing also in terms of not just romantic, but family relationships, being able to get the, honestly, deep down to, like, as simple as like finding the sofa that you really wanted, or the piece of artwork that fits in the right place in the new home that you have, getting approved to leave where it is that you are. All of these little things are going to be happening at a very quick rate in April. Now keep in mind, this is the beginning of a long journey, a 6-month journey, and then frankly a year finalization that ends in January, about you stabilizing your new home identity. So it's not like everything happens right now, but this is a beginning to these things happening, and there's going to be a lot of quick, fast movements that are going to work in your favor during this time. Another thing as well is for those of you who are looking for a love that feels like home is your priority. I've been mentioning this a lot. You know, the big focus is on the kind of relationships that have lasting quality to them, a longevity feeling. But even if you're not looking for a traditional romance in that sense, you no longer are interested in connecting with people that don't feel as natural and organic to you as possible. You want to feel that rested, still energy when it comes to who it is that is your close corners or is in your close corners. So that is your lover, that is your friends, that is your family, who it is that you spend, or who you're living with, who it is that you spend most of your time with. You want to feel as safe and as stable in these spaces as possible, and you're aligning with that energy. And you're being very critical about things that do not feel familiar to you or do not give you a safe space of comfort and stability. You are focused on starting your new life and your new beginnings. And you're also starting to kind of, you can find yourself a little bit anxious about what it is that is new versus what it is that is old. There will be a battle between old and new for you this month, especially as let's go into it. Week 1, we find the Mercury retrograde. So as April 1st finds us, and it's the retrograde, nothing to fear, of course, obviously. Mercury retrogrades are beautiful times because they allow us to circle back and to revisit things and to be clear-minded on things, and to really stabilize our goals in a way that is more practical, more successful, and more real. And so that's what's happening for you. It's what is the red tape? What documents do you need to sign? What contracts have you not paid attention to? Do you need assistance? Do you need clarity in some kind of department to make your move easier, or to stabilize where it is that you actually are, or paperwork around leases or mortgages or something along those lines? All of these conversations, and also big on visas as well. So all of these conversations are happening, in Mercury retrograde is coming in to make it so that you're actually, instead of dreaming, you're practicalizing. You're circling back and you're looking at the finer details. You're really reading the fine print and being very clear on what it is that you need to push forward, what it is that you need to sign and pay attention to. And these are the things that are finding you during the retrograde. So, and this is what brings you into a battle between the old and the new. So the old can, especially when you want to talk about like love and romance, an old romance versus a new one. An old way that you thought about love versus a new way that you're thinking about it. Old relationships that you no longer want to hold on to. And then actually being able to see the newer relationships find themselves. And a lot of financial comfort finding you this month as well. And a part of that is because as you go back to the drawing board, especially in week 1, you're stabilizing your streams of income and how you're looking at your finances and how to expand on your finances the best way that you can. It works in your favor because you are coming up with more like brilliant ideas really around what it is that you need to do in order to push your efforts forward, in order to, I guess, kind of throw the ball and make sure the ball goes very far. And this is the blessing that's coming in when it comes to Mercury retrograde. We also have Venus entering Aries at the same time. So again, this is all, the retrograde is also in Aries. And then we also have Venus going on into Aries. So there's a lot of socializing, and your big focus is on socializing within the realms of where it is that you want to be. So whoever feels the most like home to you, or aligning with people in the area that you want to move to, or the area that you just found yourself in, you're prioritizing how to have better communications and better relationships within that narrative. You're furthering your feelings of contentment within your home, and you're doing it with a lot of empowerment, really. Your wealth focus is here, your expansion is big on your mind, as I mentioned, and your business developments are taking center stage because you're finding your personal identity and how it aligns with your wealth and your finances. You've had to learn how to navigate your relationships in a way that self-prioritized you. And this me first energy that Aries is bringing to you has you looking at yourself and understanding that your wealth is a part of the ways in which you take care of yourself first. And one of the best ways that you practice self-care and can then be a better partner to others. And this is a good energy that starts here in the week 1, but it's going to lead you into a beautiful Taurian season when you start to partner up more, right? So we're going from the 1 in Aries into the 2 in Taurus at the end of the month. And when you accept yourself into the 2, and it's more about your relationships and connecting and feeling more comfortable in the home environment after all of the work that you put in Aries season. As you begin to align with others, you can do more for your relationships because you know wealth. So in week 2, we have the solar eclipse, the new moon in Aries, and that is finding us on the 8th. And this is big relocation energy. So it doesn't necessarily mean that you're packing up all your stuff and you're leaving right now in this moment. A lot of the time, this is actually just you in a headspace of what it is that needs to happen in order for you to relocate. You've got these big ideas in your mind about, again, what home means to you, and you're starting to see how you can establish them. For some of you, it is just a big leap. For others of you, it is a big stabilization, meaning gaining more control over your current environment to make it feel more like home. Did you recently throw someone out? Did you recently get a divorce? Did you disconnect from, did one of your children leave? Or are they back? Different things that are starting to make you feel more at peace at home, and you're prioritizing them with intensity. You're kind of like a warrior in the kitchen in that sense, and you're being unapologetic about your comfort level and your stabilization. So that's on a practical sense. Internally, what is fueling you is you want to feel as safe and as secure and as loved and as nurtured as possible. And you're in the driver's seat, and you're well aware of the fact that you are in the driver's seat. And as you sit in the driver's seat of your own life, you're not going to compromise, you're not going to settle, you're not going to allow anything that does not serve this energy to get a handle or a hold or a control over you. You want to make sure that everything is working in your favor seamlessly in order for you to finally feel at peace in your own skin, and like I said, where it is that you are grounded into the ground. So that is what's going on in terms of week 2. Another big thing as well, like I said, stabilization, but also if you want to leave where it is that you are, looking into the paperwork of what it would mean to move to a different place, and really asking yourself where it is that you want to be. Some of you can actually, as simple as like a Google search, and realize this is actually where I want to live. This is where I want to be. You can find yourself finding the home, finding the neighborhood, finding the country, finding the city that works the most for you. Yeah, so when it comes to this energy, when it comes to week 2, when we're looking at the mother wound, and some of you can find yourselves in conflicts with your mother, or at least putting to bed some of the issues tied around your mother, either directly or again the mother wounds. So for those of you who have the mother wound, you can be either rethinking it, wanting to converse about it, or in general, you've done a lot of the hard, heavy lifting when it comes to this energy. So most of you are just going to find yourself feeling healed of it. You've already been kind of going through that already. Feeling like a comfort level when it comes to your relationship with your mother. Some of you can find yourself disconnecting from her, distancing yourself from her, letting her know that you're going to create distance between the two of you, actually feeling like you can be independent of your mother. Or again, for those of you who have a deep mother wound, you're finally independent of the trauma. You're finally independent of the pain, attachment, and you have found the other side of mothering yourself, and you've been able to acquire this nurtured energy that's going on. So this is a part of what's been going on up until this point, and then as we look at Mercury retrograde, these things are going to be on your mind. So the action plans that you're going to put in around this energy. So finding kind of, how do you say it, like creating the solutions that she might have said were conflicts. So being able to do the things that she might have thought you were never able to do, being able to be in places that she never thought possible, being able to attract that, especially for those of you who are mother wounds of narcissistic mothers, being able to attract the love that she never thought possible for you or never told you was possible. Or if it was a healthier relationship, just being able to create boundaries, being able to do it on your own, being able to kind of finally feel like a grown-up in that sense. So that's the kind of energy that's going on in April, especially during the eclipse, and how it's creating the new beginning for what it is that you want to see now in your future. You are your own parent in that sense, and that's a big energy that's going on. But the kind of parent that's not necessarily the father, it's the kind of parent that is the mother, the parent that is telling you or showing you the way in which you can feel the most safe, secure, and nurtured in your new life. And it's a very good energy. Another thing that will happen around the eclipse is conversations around conflicts when it comes to stabilization. So you are looking into the fine details, you are looking into the contracts, and you might find conflicts. You might find things that go against the kind of, like the leases or, your visas or whatever it is that you want to use to establish yourself, you can find yourself looking at the fine details and maybe running into some conflicts. Don't worry about it. It's going to work out in your favor as you get out on the other side. You have to go through the dark in order to achieve the light, as we talk about all the time. Don't fear the conflict, just move through it. So let's go into week 3. We've got the sun enters Taurus during this time. So the heated, intense energy that you have going on from week 1 to week 2, it's not to say that you're going to feel bogged down and it's harsh. It's more like Aries season for the remainder of it, you're going to feel like fire. So fire sometimes feels good and other times it doesn't. You know, it's you're on guard and you're focused on achieving your goals. And this is going to really work in your favor when it comes to your career and when it comes to your money, because again, like a mother, you are focused on providing for yourself. And as you provide for yourself, you're doing so in a way that nurtures yourself. You're looking at your wealth through the viewpoint of what nurtures you. And that's a part of how you're building so much of it and your focus on it all throughout Aries season in terms of April. But again, because you're so focused on action and feeling stable, it can be a bit of an edgy feeling. Then we go into week 3, as I said, as sun enters Taurus, and this is where things kind of calm down a little bit more. We've got big surprises going on this week because of some of the things going on with Uranus. Anything that needs to be shaken or shifted or reborn will do so. There might be a big surprise in terms of, like, on a positive note, you finally get what it is that you've been wanting. You know, a phone call that you weren't expecting, a random, you know, a lover, or yeah, you know, somebody who's been wanting to reach out to you and hasn't reached out to you can finally do so. You finally get that call back in terms of the contract that you needed. You're feeling very stable in terms of your Pentacle energy, but this is where the kind of surprises that come in, that if your karma is in alignment, that work in your favor. Whatever it is that needs to go will go, and whatever it is that needs to stay, and that stays, and that's what finds you during week 3. I don't know why I'm stuttering so much to this video. I apologize. You will also have to get on top of something to increase your finances as well. And yeah, so when it comes to week 3, the way things have been financially for you throughout the month of April have been working in your favor. Aries has been working in your favor. But as Taurus season comes around and week 3 finds us, there is something that you have to do to ensure that your finances find balance. So again, it could be just needing to create another service or sign a different contract, or, you know, protect yourself in some kind of way in order to make sure that you can protect yourself, but then also it's going to work in your favor. So whatever financial shift happens actually will increase your financial abundance. So welcome it. Again, do not fear the conflicts, do not fear the oppositions, because they're working in your favor. So it can be something that you think at first, oh, this is, you know, difficult, or I don't want to have to do this, or I don't want to have to go through this, but actually it works for you. And it could mean that you're hiring somebody. It could mean that you're getting so overloaded that you need to make that shift, you need to make the change, and actually it's going to work in your favor, especially in the long run, especially when we're looking at May. So that's another thing that tends to happen. You will possibly be dealing with oppositions tied to what it is that you want to do. So for many of you who could be hiring someone or starting a new service or kind of switching things up in terms of how you navigate, you can run into opposition. So people who are telling you can't do that, or how you're doing it is not okay, or they don't like the change or the shift, ignore them. This difference, because remember there is a Uranus energy that is happening during week 3. This difference is actually working for you. So going against the grain is very smart during this time. And then in week 4, we have the big full moon in Scorpio. And this is, I mean, this month in general, both of the moons are very intense. Obviously, we have this, you know, powerful Aries new moon that's asking for us to go through all this change and transformation, and it kind of puts this fire underneath us, but it's doing so in the middle of a retrograde. So here's the fire, and here's all the blueprint and the fine print that you'll want to look at, right? And then we look at the full moon in Scorpio, and this is big for you guys in terms of your connections, your relationships, your networks, in different, and in this case, it's not so traumatic as it would normally be in the past. A little brief message for those of you who are part of the SeaGoat Collective. I wanted to break down a little bit in terms of how the member tiers are working now. I've changed things. You guys know I'm always changing things to be more cohesive for us. So now there are 3 tiers, and that will be it. No more changing after this. We've got the inner circle, which is those of you who join the mailing list and get those specific insights that are found via email. You guys are look out for the email for April very soon. As you know, they always come on the 1st. So that's the inner circle. Next is the healing circle, and that is a membership here on YouTube. And I will be uploading all of the details that you need to know about it in the community tab. So please look out for the community tab on April 1st to get all the information in terms of joining the new healing circle and how, and pretty much what it's about. And you guys have been asking me about meditations and chakra healing and all the work and the balance that we need to do to better ourselves and align with ourselves. And many of you who are in the client circle, we do that work together, but you know, the bigger meditations and for everyone else, it's, you know, not so easy to acquire. So the healing circle now, which is tier 2, is a membership here on YouTube, and there you will find me, and we're going to do lives. It's the only place I will be doing lives on YouTube for SeaGoat Secrets. And yeah, and we are going to talk to each other and connect with each other and do all of our meditations there, similar to like what I used to do on Instagram. And lastly, the last circle is the client circle, and that's for all of you guys who are a part of, you know, the service community. You guys purchase readings and you guys work with me, and you guys are my personal clients. That's why it's called the client circle. So those are the 3 tiers, and there are, you will get the full rundown in terms of benefits for each circle again in the community tab on April 1st. I realize I just explained this all in kind of a long-winded way. I don't know why my communication is a little iffy, but I hope I clarified things for you guys a bit. In general, just look out on April 1st to get all the details, okay? So I love you. Let's get back into the reading. But the full moon in Scorpio, this is bringing about big karmic endings in your relationships, your friendships, also your romantic dynamics as well, but this one won't be as heavy as it has been in the past, just mainly because of the, you know, the karma of the year, different things like that. If you are on the what does it mean to be on the right side of karma, right? But just in a space where you've done a lot of the work and you're in a more light energy, let's say that, this will actually feel really good. So it'll feel like the end of anything that you've been holding on to, or any people that you've been holding on to that you know need to go. As you start the month, and like I said, you're in this fiery energy, you're putting to bed all of these things, you're wielding this sword, you are kind of pioneering into your new beginning. The full moon comes in and it says goodbye to debts, goodbye, and those debts can be financial. Those debts can also be in terms of relationships, like I was saying. So finally just closing the door to friendships that no longer serve, people that no longer serve. You're like, listen, this is where I'm going to go. I'm finally established where it is that I am, or I know where it is that I'm going, and this just, you know, let's call it quits. Let's end the dynamics so we can move forward, so that I can move forward in the way that I deem fit. A lot of karmic contracts or soul contracts are ending this month for the entire collective. But we're just focused on you, right? So for you guys in specific, this is mostly around your social dynamics. So when you want to talk about your old social circles in the old space that you once called home, that you were not necessarily comfortable in, now we bring about the new social circle, the new conversations, the new dynamics, the new fresh energy. For those of you who might have someone returning in your love life, which was in week 3, week 4 can see you possibly seeing them in a new light, either in the kind of light that is, okay, this doesn't work and this no longer is going to be feasible, so let's put an end to it, and that energy kind of finds you in May. Or it is, okay, I'm seeing you in a better way, and it's kind of like fresh water. Let's see what we can do with this. But either way, there's something about starting new in your social dynamics by putting to bed the old ones. Another big thing as well is keeping in mind that this is about ending old identities. So who it is that you create, I guess, connections with is because you're ending your old self. Remember, home within the self first, right? We go deep into the spiritual in order to understand what's happening on our outside. Where the way our home is on the external is really just a reflection of the way we are on the internal. What we like to experience in terms of our external is really just a reflection of what gives our internal peace. So these connections or these relationships that are no longer serving you, you are ending them because you're giving birth to a new you. You're giving birth to your new identity. You've been doing so for a very long time, especially your Capricorn placements, because of the Pluto transit. And now you're done. You're done having to explain yourself. You're done having to try to bring the old into the new and create this merger here and forgive people here and give too much of the benefit of the doubt here. You just want to give to those who are giving to you. You want relationships that serve. You want to feel good. You want to feel stable. And you're very focused on that stability. And so when it comes to ending connections that no longer serve you, it's not just about the people. It's ending a huge chunk of your old social self. You're no longer entertaining the things that you used to either. So this is something that, again, we saw happening in March, but it was a little bit heavier in March. Whereas in April, it's more, it starts with a punch, right, with the fire, and then it ends with the scorpionic depth energy that says, okay, I'm going to swim and I'm going to let go. I'm going to dive into this new realm and let go of what no longer serves. I'm going into a different ocean. You know, I'm swimming into different waters. And who's coming with me? Who am I going to commit to? Who am I opening myself to a newfound love that feels very transformative? Because we're talking about the Scorpio full moon. So if love is finding you, it's very transformational. It is the beginning of the new home, right? If you are leaving love behind, it's this transformational energy of leaving an old home into a new one. So very good in terms of the stabilization of this new rooted, grounded, nurtured, hugged by Mother Earth kind of energy that you're looking for and finding, which is good. Okay, so I want to break down in terms of what your career focus needs to be for this month. Lots of money progress, deep downloads about wealth growth are going to be finding you. So it's interesting because this month is very progressive in terms of your money. I will be doing a career reading. It's very progressive with your money, but on an internal level, what is actually going on with you is more emotional and more of a substance relationship with, again, could be the mother healing this instability, feeling more empowered in yourself. And then your money happens more seamlessly. There's a lot of things growing in your wealth that from the outside looking in, you look like you're putting in a lot of work and a lot of energy, but from where you're sitting, you're just doing the Capricorn thing. You know, you're just kind of just making it happen because it's you feeling comfortable and safe and nurtured enough to be able to create new wealth, I guess, opportunities for yourself. And you will be getting deep downloads, especially around the new moon, about the kind of, I guess, propositions that can work in your favor to create more wealth in your future. Your dream state is going to be big in terms of you realizing, oh, I can do this, I can expand this way, I can come up with this idea. So big transformations in terms of wealth building because your career focus is getting a lot of good water poured into it during the month of April. Aries is really working in your favor in terms of that department. And then we end it with Taurus, where, again, working is really easy for you, but it's more like saying, okay, how can I ground these ideas and being able to see them in a more practical sense. In terms of love focus, good fortune can happen in love as well. You can get this, in general, it's a new beginning. So whether it's a new beginning and you're already partnered, you guys are going to a place where you're feeling more stable, more at home with each other. Those of you who are singles, you're really focused on the kind of relationship that feels like home, We've been talking about this. You've been being refined to become the person that works the best for the kind of relationship that you deserve. And April can actually see these new beginnings taking place. So dating has taken on a whole new energy for you now in April. The energy's lighter. You're feeling lighter. You're feeling more clear on what it is that you want, and you're attracting more aligned partnerships for what it is that you want to see for your future. The big focus is lifetime love for you. And that is the thing when it comes to you singles, and those of you who have been dating, you guys can be taking things to another level. If you are one of the people who are seeing the old come back into the new, it can be a conversation about who's old, who's new, and the choice that you will make. Do you restore the past? Do you reconcile? Or do you put to bed the old in order to pioneer yourself into a new relationship that actually is the foundational new beginning that you've been looking for? You're feeling stronger in yourself, in your own. For those of you who would, especially if you just ended something, there is a period of singlehood that works in your favor during April, and it's going to feel more established in that sense. For those of you who have been single for a while, you guys are more going to be the ones that are dealing with others and being able to kind of see the new beginnings plan themselves out organically. Your career will be a big distraction. So as you're very focused on your wealth and your finances during the month of April, and your home, and like, you know, your life in general is kind of keeping you a bit of a busybody during April. So people are going to find themselves focused on you more than you're focused on them, which is actually working in your favor, because you don't want to overgive to a connection that does not deserve it. And that is an issue that many of you guys have had in the past. This time, let people come to you, and you focus on building the structure around you. And it'll be a good distraction, especially because in March we saw that love, what was the wound in love, was waiting on the change. For those of you who are partnered, waiting on the shift to take place, waiting on the end of a relationship, or for singles, waiting on the ability to find the relationship that works in your favor, or fully get what it is that you desired in love. And then for you guys who are in new partnerships, finally being able to kind of get through the initial what do they call that? Getting your land legs, I guess, or the crawling stage. So a lot of that patience that was testing you in March is not going to weigh as heavy on you in April. It's more an energy of, because you're so focused on your life and yourself, it's more peace in terms of this energy if you allow it. If you do not weigh too heavy on yourself in terms of not being able to get the results that you're looking for in the first half of the month. Yeah. For those of you who are already partnered, it is a lot of bliss in terms of you being able to, you guys being able to work together in order to create a new beginning and a more stable connection with one another. So that's kind of it. We're going to get into the reading now. Okay. I am surprised. I was not expecting this. And that explains a lot about the intensity that I was feeling, right? So here we are. You are the devil. You are Capricorn. And this feels more like your own empowerment, mainly because at the bottom of the tarot deck we have, I'm sorry, you guys who haven't been here before, this is your subject. This entire section here is the subject matter of what's going on for the month. This darkness here is where your shadow is, which is what's going on in the subconscious. Because remember, this is your personal reading. So this is what's going on in your subconscious, beginning with you. Tinges of it kind of can apply to the way it manifests on the external, like in the career. This feels more like career than anything else. And also in your relationships, but those readings are separate. But yeah, this is your shadow, and here we have your advice, and then this is your spiritual guidance. And so one of the biggest things that I feel here, like I was saying, in terms of the devil being your subject, and this is right here on top of the Empress in reverse, this still doesn't feel so dark to me. This feels like your own personal empowerment. And it's interesting because in the client circle, this has been a common theme going on in terms of personal power and the devil. And at the bottom of the tower, we have the Eight of Wands, which is about this forward movement. And it's interesting that the Eight of Wands is here, and what came out is the Nine of Wands in terms of your subject, and here we have the Eight of Wands in terms of movement. At the bottom of the the white oracle here, we have perception, how it is that you're looking at something, the perception of how it is that you're seeing it. At the bottom of the advice here, we have inner trust. So, and I'll go into the healing points at another time. But this is a part of what I'm saying. So in terms of this energy that is prolonging, or I guess overarching, we've got this whole thing going on, this constant theme about where it is that your perception is putting you into a space where you feel as if though you cannot move. And here we have the devil. When you have to embrace your personal power and step into this deep, sometimes dark, taboo and unconventional space, there are many times when you don't know necessarily what to do with that energy. It feels overwhelming. It feels like it is something that is asking too much of you, or you don't like to necessarily be in that energy all the time, especially as healed Capricorns. You can feel like it's kind of like bringing out the dark in you, but in this case, it's about power. And your power is about embracing both the yin and the yang at this moment, being unapologetic in both. There's a lot of movement that's going on during this season. There's a lot of movement going on in April in general, and you have to take the reins in order to complete whatever it is that's in front of you. We've got the mask, and it's interesting that this is also here with gaslighting, because at the bottom we have a double confirmation on more gaslighting, right? Gaslighting, perception, delusion, not necessarily showing what is real behind the mask. And this is followed up with things take time to progress. You're feeling like the wounded warrior in the sense of you're trying to push these things forward, but there's a lack of abundance here. And it's interesting how we had a lot of home themes for April, because the Empress is, in this case, feeling like this imbalance when it comes to the comfort in this area, in the home area in specific, this feeling like you're not growing necessarily. But again, it goes back to this space of like the work that you're putting in order to get to what it is that you need. At the end of the day, what it is that you want and desire the most is not necessarily showing itself throughout the month. And because it's not showing itself yet, because all things are taking time and there's a lot of energy, there's a lot of things that you're trying to move forward or push forward, and yet and still what it is that you desire the most. And that's why this is interesting, because it's showing up in your personals, but this is a manifestation of different things for all of you. So whatever it is that you're waiting on, not finding you per se, and because of this time that you have to invest. And again, it goes back to this feeling of, oh, you've already been patient, and many of you have been waiting on various things, and you're feeling empowered, and you want to push things forward, and you have this momentum. And this is where we go back again with the Eight of Wands, where it's like, you know, there is all this fire and this passion that you're moving forward to get things done, and it is leaving you in a space of being wounded, but you're still faithful, you're hopeful, you know that at the end you're going to be able to achieve what it is that you want. But it's this feeling of a lack of abundance, of feeling like you're not comfortable. But it's not, this lack of abundance doesn't necessarily feel like it's internal in a sense where it's affecting the pentacle per se. It feels like something where, again, what does it mean to have comfort? Again, this birth of a new reality, this sense of home, this sense of almost like walking outside and seeing the garden, being in this contentment in terms of what it is that you're trying to bring forth to your fruition. And you're head deep in your own personal power in order to make things happen. But you're feeling wounded because of the amount of work that you have to put in order to flip this on its head. In your shadow, we've got the Ace of Cups with the Tower in reverse. So in this case, I would say it's that you want the Tower. You're afraid that there isn't going to be a transformation. You're afraid that there isn't going to be a change. And most importantly, you're afraid that you're not going to get this abundant, new, fulfilling beginning. Some of you, this could relate, and not to intertwine this, but this personal reading in specific, it feels so external. And some of you, this could literally relate back to a love story. And ultimately, it is a love story in some way, shape, or form, whether it is manifesting itself and where it is that you want to be, what it is that you're trying to create, whether it be an actual love, romantic love, a new beginning in terms of what's around you, what's going on in your career. It's a feeling like you won't get this cup that runneth over. And you know that in order to receive what it is that you need, great change has to happen. You want this tower this time, but you're afraid that it's not happening, as if it's stuck in translation. And so here we go back to your advice, and we've got big, bold vision, free from judgment, free to love. So we're going back into this space where it's requiring you to remind yourself that as long as you envision it, you can see it through. So to remove the self-judgment and to remove the perception that which you are kind of overwhelming your own thought. I'm sorry for the noise. Overwhelming your own thoughts because you're saying to yourself, okay, I'm in this headspace and I understand my personal power and I know I need to dive into the dark, pull out that deep Capricornian energy in order to see through the end of what it is that you want. But we're in this space where it feels like, okay, well, where is this actually getting me? I'm feeling getting to me. Interesting why I said getting to me, right? This woundedness. It's like not being able to see what's on the other side. What is that's on the other side is not showing itself to me, and it's leaving us in a state of stagnance. And this is the space of stagnance that is worrying you, right? But then we have the advice is big, bold vision, free from judgment, free to love. So again, we go back to this space because remember, this is your personal reading. So all of this is happening inside of you, practicalizing in various ways on the outside of you, but it's happening inside of you. And where is it that you're practicing a lot of self-judgment and therefore restriction when it comes to yourself? You're required to think outside the box and allow the way in which you think outside of the box, holding on to the bigger vision and not criticizing or over judging or categorizing yourself for not being able to bring the I guess the vision or the reality into fruition in the way that you saw it initially. So things are taking time. And we go back to this space of inner trust showing up at the bottom of this deck, right? It's like, it's understanding, it's about perception. And in a lot of ways, you're gaslighting yourself. In a lot of ways, this is the way that you're treating yourself because you're not happy to be in this energy. You've been feeling lighthearted in that sense, and it's like you don't want to be in this devil energy, this ambitious, driven, power space is actually feeling a little overwhelming for you, and you don't necessarily want to be in it, but it's about channeling that energy and enjoying it, enjoying the space of this personal power and the depth of character that it's giving to you, remembering your personal power as well, because in so many ways you guys have gone through things where you've kind of been powerless, right? And then you got to a space where you kind of were at the whim of the universe in that sense. And now here you are having to push in your momentum in order to bring forth what it is that you desire the most. And this Nine of Wands is still a positive omen in terms of getting you to understand that what it is that you desire is going to see itself. It's just taking time. So let's go to your healing points. Another thing as well, when it comes to the healing points, the other cards that were showing about the deck was Basset. Another one was talking about being gentle with yourself and understanding that you're protected. A wish fulfillment is on its way. It's just a matter of you understanding that your wound up energy is not helping you. It's important to be in this space of personal empowerment, but why do you look at this devil energy as such a bad thing? Why is it that whenever you have to get here, as in when you have to buckle down, you have to put your head down, you have to go into that power and you have to give it fire, why is it that you've learned to create this idea around this energy that works in your detriment? It's about perception, as if you're gaslighting and diluting yourself because of the time that something is taking. And you're leaving yourself feeling wounded because you haven't given birth per se to the reality that you want to have in the way that you saw it, right? And it's because you're afraid that you're not going to get what it is that you desire. So it's interesting because we have here these are Pisces and Leo for me. This is the Hangman for me, and this is the Strength for me. But more than just the strength, it just represents Leo energy. So in terms of the top, water energy, it is time to let go. Things are working out in their own way. Trust that your heart is wise in leading you on a soul healing journey in the right spiritual path. Spirit wants to bring you a blessing and a resolution. Remember I talked about that? You're wounding yourself up and you're sidestepping yourself from the fact that your wish fulfillment is on its way. But it's the way you're looking at it and the way you're judging yourself, the way that, judging yourself, going back to free from judgment, free to love. And this goes directly to you. It's like, hold on to your vision. Hold on to what it is that you see fit. You can manifest what it is that you truly desire. And this is not a curse. To be in this space is not a curse at all. It's actually a very deep blessing, and it's what you need in order to push you to the other side to get what it is that you want. This is not a negative thing. It doesn't have to feel heavy. In fact, it can feel complementary. That's how you get to turn this energy on its upright, when you start here. So let's bring it back to here. Spirit wants to bring you a blessing and a resolution, but you must let go and allow it to happen. Events are unfolding according to a higher plan. Even if your plans are going awry, know that all will come together at the right time and in the best way possible. Surrender your struggle and hold on to faith. And let's bring it back to this one here, because this is one of the most positive omens in this deck, and specific for me, because it's the Lion's Gate, 888. Your heart has a heightened connection with the higher realms of consciousness and light. A blessing, empowerment, and positive omen shall enter your world. Doors will open for you. Abundance and prosperity are headed your way. Take care of your heart. Ask for spiritual assistance, and it shall be granted. Something negative is going to transform into something positive. So we go back into this space again, where whatever challenges that you're facing on the internal level, that you feel like is manifesting on the external level, are definitely, yes, they're putting you in this devil energy. Whenever you have to go into that space, it doesn't necessarily, especially for you guys, it doesn't necessarily come from a space where you are, like I said, enjoying the process. It's always some kind of challenge on the external that is making you have to embrace this energy. With holding on to your vision and understanding that you're moving in the right direction, and you're going to get what it is that you desire, but you have to let go. And it doesn't mean let go as in don't continue to work on it. No, of course you can continue to work on it, but how are you pushing forward? Having to be in this energy, especially again in a personal reading, oftentimes for you feels like a detriment. But it's just asking you to be in this space of personal empowerment in order to get through this time period. It's not a sentence in that case. It's just diving deep within the depths of yourself in order to bring forth what it is that you desire in this new beginning. And then we bring it back to the space of having to let go and understand that things are working out the way they're meant to. And in this case, it brings it back to this space of all of the energy that you're putting in terms of your personal empowerment in order to move things forward, in order to kind of breathe this fire, which is no surprise to me as we're in a Mercury retrograde during Aries season. So you have this intensity, you have this drive, you have this fire, you have this ambition, you have this unapologetic energy. And it's deeply powerful in terms of what it is that you're trying to manifest and create. But it's difficult when you feel like you've hit a roadblock, when in this entire time you've been moving and things have been feeling more seamless. So the worry here is that things are going to fall, or that you're not going to get the change that you desire. But you are. You're being put into this energy to remember who it is that you are. And that's a part of the reason why the let go is here, because it's detaching yourself from the outcome, and it's being in this intense energy to be in it. Simply to be in it, to understand it, to remember yourself. To understand how to merge the love and the light with the dark and the intense, to understand that manifestation energy. Remove self-judgment away from what it means to be in this sense of empowerment as well. The big, bold vision of what it is that you're creating in your life requires you to be in this deep space in order to bring it forward. Stop gaslighting yourself. Stop wounding yourself because you cannot see what's on the other side as clearly as you once desired it. And yes, the patience is rough. But letting go and letting God is a part of the energy that you move forward with. And we bring it back to this space of understanding that there is ultimately the intense positive energy that's on the horizon for you is there. So just because you're in this energy, this deep space of empowerment, does not mean there is some kind of wound or block or detriment. Because ultimately we see here, you have to trust yourself. It's all about how you're looking at it. You are safe and protected. You are able to still have your gentle energy. There is a wish fulfillment coming about. It is about removing the wound up, stressed out feeling that you've been in. It all comes together as one. What about this type of energy? You're having to see yourself again. What do you need to know about this type of energy? Yep. It's about your power. It's about your personal power, your confidence, your fire during a fiery season. It's stepping out of that space where you judge yourself every time you have to go into this deep, dark space of being the one in charge. Release it. You're learning how to redefine this energy for you. And a part of the delays that you're dealing with is so that you can be in that space. So you can go back to being the creator again, who molds reality, who makes it submit to what it is that you want it to be. Letting go of what the outcomes would be, because you already know things are working out in your favor. This is your personal, right? This is your personal reading. And in this case, it's removing the judgment of self, having the big, bold vision about who it is that you are, diving deep into your sense of self-confidence and your unapologetic nature to be here. You're awakening to yourself more than anything during April. And as you awaken to yourself, you don't want, well, you do want, right? But it's saying release the apologies. In order to create the life that you're looking for, in order to be in this new reality, you have to embrace your personal empowerment. And you have to remove the fear that just because you do that, that you don't deserve some kind of new cup of love that's overflowing, this new offer that's going to come to you, or that things won't change the way you want them to be. Let that go. Heal whatever blockages you have within that energy. Remove it. What do we need to know about the Empress energy? It's the last clarifier I'm going to do for this. These just fell. I won't take them. Hold on. A lot of cards keep falling. What do we need to know about this Empress energy? Make it clear. The ones that fell before were the Ace of Cups with the Sun. What do we need to know about this Empress energy? Let's make it clear. Four of Swords. So we're going back to this energy of what it means to be in a rested state. Still going through the healing process. And the time that's taking, time to heal, right? Still going through the healing process in terms of being able to create this new abundant beginning for yourself. It's okay to not have it all together. You're healing whatever that means in terms of the imbalance of this energy. So here you are moving into your own confidence, pushing forward despite all odds, right? Moving this energy towards you, moving out of the space of the wounded warrior. And the Empress in reverse is talking about the fact that you're still healing. We go back to this space of it takes time to heal. Time is still in movement. And I can't help but feel like you're healing the energy of when you were not the Empress. This Empress in reverse energy, which I think is quite interesting. It's like healing when you did not be able, when you weren't able to have this abundant reality that you were existing in. Still healing the wounds tied to that energy, which have you in this space of perception. You have to increase your confidence. Expanding, excelling. Falling back in love with yourself. And that's the energy that's pushing you forward. Yeah, expand. Okay, so that's what I have for you in terms of your personal. It's an intense month. This energy, again, it doesn't feel heavy in the sense of you're fighting these intense battles. It doesn't feel like that. It's more like you're remembering you or waking up to you, but you're not necessarily happy about it. It's a strange dance that you're going through in terms of having to let go and allow, but having to let go and allow yourself, first and foremost, to be full in your energy and not just one way, and not thinking that that one way is the only way that you're going to get what it is that you want. You got to stop gaslighting yourself, judging yourself. You're still going through a healing process. There's still time that is moving through things. There's an elusiveness in this kind of energy, because what is not manifesting that you think that you want to manifest is taking the time so that you can refine and expand. But okay, that's what I have for you. I love you. Ciao.